Hello guys and welcome back. You're listening to Next in the Queue. This is an interview-based podcast that connects listeners with musicians, writers, producers, and really anyone in the music industry through curated playlists. Today I'm joined with Emma from Like a Doll.
Hi.
So do you want to just give a quick little intro and background on yourself a little bit?
I grew up in the East Village here in New York, and right now my band is made up of a lot of my childhood friends that I actually started playing music with when I was like 10 years old, I think, and we had a little rock band. Like in school we had electives, and at first the band was not with them, and it didn't feel right, and now that it's with my childhood friends it feels very special to have them be a part of it. I describe Like a Doll as whimsical lullaby rock.
That's in my notes, like whimsical. Like it is very whimsical in nature.
And like music that takes you on a journey. We put little dots on our cheeks for the show to make us look like dolls. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So since you touched on it already, I'm going to just go and ask that question. I was like, your music is very whimsical and storytelling in nature. Like, what inspirations do you, like, draw from?
I feel like I take a lot from just the feelings, like turning my anxiety into, like, positive feelings, like, from like this dissociation that I feel that makes me feel like a doll, like I'm in a dollhouse in a fake world, and taking that and kind of putting myself in a more playful space of dissociation and trying to make it enjoyable and like kind of Alice in Wonderland vibe. Like I definitely take inspiration from that and all the different sizes that she experiences and the journey that she goes on. I feel like even though I'm inspired by a lot of external things, for the most part I feel like it's my like internal like struggle that I'm working through, as many artists I'm sure. But the Beatles, big inspiration. Yeah, like 60s, 70s rock. I love the Zombies and Joni Mitchell. That's not rock, but
And do you ever feel like you draw from like children's books or anything?
there aren't like any children's books that I can really think of off the top of my head, but I definitely like to look at children's books when I'm in the bookstore. Especially used bookstores, I'll buy children's books. Just
and like the
flip through them.
colors, like the colors that they have, kind of like your stage presence, like you know, like the cheeks and like the accentuated eyelashes.
Yeah, definitely like creating a character that is not myself, that is kind of childlike. I feel like I take a lot from like nursery rhymes, and I think a lot of stuff comes from also like growing up going to Hebrew school 3 times a week and like learning all of like these like biblical stories. A lot of my music like lyrically takes from that, like I know it reference Noah's Ark, and I don't know, I just think a lot of those stories seeped into my lyric writing and trying to put like a more playful twist on darker themes and emotions.
Yeah, it made me think of Jonah. You know, like
And
he
the
gets
whale.
eaten by a whale. I mean, I went to Christian school, so I'm sure it's like a lot different. But there was like this Veggie Tales.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I never really watched it.
In the belly of a whale. Like, it was so funny.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about, like, how, like, religious stuff is, like, a lot of imagery and, like, you know, metaphors and stuff, and not, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I like how visual a lot of that stuff is, and kind of like that they break it down into a space where like kids can understand it more, or like that they don't necessarily understand it, but it's something that they could like get entertainment out of, like living in the belly of a whale. Makes me think of James and the Giant Peach. I loved that movie.
Yeah, that movie is so good.
Growing up, and I recently, not that recently, like a few years ago, recently rewatched it, and I was like, wait, this whole thing is a musical? Like, I didn't even realize that it was a musical.
Who's Abides by Ronald?
I almost,
yeah, I always want to say, like, I discovered recently that it's not Ronald. And so now I'm like, I have to learn how to say it. But yeah, like, all of those books, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Matilda?
Yeah, Matilda.
Like, they're a really good storyteller.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Ronald, there was a Ronald McDonald, like McDonald's TV show.
Really?
Did you ever
No, I never
see
saw
that?
it.
It was like partially live action, partially animated. And I think I draw a lot from like the colors in that. Like, I forgot that it even existed, but then I saw a picture of it, and
You're like, oh yeah,
was like
tracks.
Yeah. Pee-wee's Playhouse, also a big show that I watched.
I feel like a lot of kids' entertainment like gets to draw a lot more on creativity. Not that adult storytelling isn't creative, but I feel like a lot of it is more lifelike instead of trying to come up with like crazy tales. Because like even like fantasy stuff that's like adult, like Game of Thrones or something, it feels very human, and it feels it doesn't like
it's very adult.
Yeah.
So, that's true. I love Game of Thrones, but it doesn't do the same thing for me. I love Adventure Time.
Yeah, I love Adventure Time, and I have to like shout out my sisters because at first, because I'm the oldest of three, so I was like, I'm too old for that. But I think 5 years ago I started just like watching it randomly, and it's so good.
When you watch it in order, it's really special and emotional. And I think they do a really good job like at like having really dark themes that
exactly, because sometimes the show gets really, really dark for a kid's show. Like when, I mean, spoiler alert, but I mean, I feel like if you haven't watched it at this point, like when Finn lost his arm, and he was going through like that really dark time, or just like
Ice King, like with like the dementia.
That whole storyline is insane.
It's so sad.
What's your favorite character?
Ooh. Maybe Lumpy Space Princess.
Oh my god, yeah, Lumpy is so fun.
She's so like ridiculous. I love her. There's this one episode where it's like she realizes that she's a crush on Finn.
Oh yeah, because I think she got like abandoned by her parents or something. And like Finn's taking care of her.
She's like living in the woods, and then she like decides that she's like Finn's secretary or something. And she's like, Finn's just not like beautiful on the outside, he's beautiful on the inside. Something like that, and like throws like all of like her stuff off of her like secretary desk that she impromptu like set up in their house. And I was like, yeah, that's definitely how it feels like when you realize you have a crush on someone.
Like the realization hits. Whoa. Yeah. I think my favorite character is Fire Princess.
Fire Princess? She's a good one. Do you have a least favorite character?
The Lemon King, maybe? Is that his name?
Oh,
What's his name? Lemon Grab.
God. Lemon Grab is
just annoying. Like, and like, my sister has a Lemon Grab tattoo, so she's gonna hate me for saying that. But like, I hate Lemon Grab. What about you?
I don't love lemongrab, but I will say for some reason I dislike tree trunks more than lemongrab. I love to hate her, and I also love her.
I also hate Princess Bubblegum, kind of.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, like
there are moments.
Yeah, there are moments, but like she's like a war criminal,
Yeah,
kind of,
she
and
is.
a dictator. Like if you really think about it.
Truly, yeah. She's a narcissist.
Yeah.
Maybe sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I like Marceline too.
But yeah, Marceline, of course. Sorry, I sidetracked us a lot, but
I love Adventure Time. I don't even care.
Adventure Time. So, when did you first start getting into music?
That's a good question. Well, I started playing bass in 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 9 or 10 because my friend Gabe, who plays drums in my band, was like, we need a bass player for my band.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, I was playing snare drum in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents are big music listeners, so music was always on in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandpa, not blood related, was a composer, and I don't really think I ever saw him play piano that much, but he wrote the music for Prince and the Pauper and Raisin in the Sun, like the musicals.
Mm-hmm.
And has a few Grammys, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah. So, you started playing bass because, like, your friend needed a bass player, but, like, what made you stick with it?
I don't know. My mom said that I always wanted to play bass, but I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, like, I feel like I always, like, listened to the bass in music when I was listening to music when I was a kid. Like, that's what felt good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the vibration of it was healing to me, maybe. Or, like, meditative. But I think also because, like, I didn't really know anyone who played bass, so I was like, it's cool that I'm the only one who plays bass.
Mm-hmm. So, I feel like when I first moved here, you were playing music under the name Stacher, and you changed to Like a Doll. Did you have, like, a reason for doing that, or did you just...
Yeah, so... Well, Stacher's my last name, so I was like... At first, my first album was going to be called Like a Doll.
Mm-hmm.
And my first single is called Like a Doll.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be Like a Doll, Like a Doll, Like a Doll. I wanted at first to, like, reclaim my last name because I've just there's been a lot of, like, trauma and abuse on, like, my dad's side of the family, and I didn't want... I don't know, I was like, I want to be able to, like, use that. And then I was like, wait, why am I, like, trying to make this name better? Like, the name is part of me, like, it is my last name, but I don't owe that to my family who's harmed me to make the name a good thing.
Yeah.
Now.
So
like,
you could just, like, let it go.
So, yeah, letting it go, which, like, felt really good. I think I only played a couple shows.
Yeah, I think, but that was, like, when I first moved here, so I think... What show was it?
My very first show was, like, February 2022.
Yeah, I think this was the show. But I can't remember. You were in the middle. Or you were... It was, like, Cowfish, maybe?
It was Cowfish and my friend's band called Flunt.
Oh, okay.
And then we were headlining. Yeah, that was my very first show playing my music with completely different lineup of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no one that was in the band is in the band now. But it feels like a fresh start to just be having the name Like a Doll. And I feel like the name is more catchy than it just being my last name.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people do the reverse of that. I'll tell you after specific people.
Like go from a band name to using their name?
Yeah, and I'm like, why? I like the band name before.
Yeah, I think band names are... They give you more of an idea, if it's the right band name,
Yeah.
of, like, what the sound is gonna be like.
Exactly.
I think that Like a Doll is a good name for what my music is.
I think so too, yeah.
Thanks.
Not that my opinion matters.
I think your opinion matters.
Yeah, so you have a new single that's coming out May 16th. What else can we look forward to in 2023?
Album in the fall, I think. I don't have a date yet, but I'm gonna continue to release singles until then. Hopefully some music videos. I'd love to have some more visual content.
Yeah, I feel like making music videos are so fun.
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas. I would love to have the budget to make a music video for the whole album. I want it to be, because like the songs kind of lead into each other, it'd be like a short film kind of.
What do you think the story behind the entire album is?
I have a lot of it written down already. When I went to London, that's like what I was doing in my free time. Whenever I was taking the train there, I would like be furiously writing down. I just had so much imagery in my head about it. But it's gonna be this doll version of myself, and myself and the doll represents like my inner journey, and my like regular self represents like my outer journey. And I see myself and I'm like fearful of myself, and my mini self is also fearful of me, and I don't want to acknowledge my inner self, so I swallow myself. And it's the journey of the doll version of me, like through my like stomach and intestine, and yeah, it's just, it'll be like, there'll be like musical breaks too, where like the little fish and creatures in my stomach are in the band playing music.
That's sick. That's like cool idea.
And then I give birth to myself.
I feel like that would look cool with like stop motion.
That's what I was thinking. I was just like, how am I gonna do that?
If anyone out there would like to do stop motion work for free,
let me know.
Hit Emma up.
Or if you want to fund my...
Yeah, exactly. Or if you want to fund Emma's album also. That could be cool.
Epic.
Yeah, so what's this new single called that's coming out on May 16th?
It's called Where, Here, There. It's like where, question mark, here, question mark, there, exclamation.
Ooh. And what's this song about?
It is about... I'm just writing about this because I was doing a Spotify pitch to get playlisted this morning. It was a last minute addition to the album. I wasn't going to record it.
Yeah.
Because I wrote it right before we recorded, and I was like, I don't know if there's enough time. But it's like the feeling that I had recording my music for the very first time. Feeling kind of like naive and like not knowing what to do with my feelings, and also wanting to know like how to come out into the world. The lyrics are like, the first line is looking for the attitude that is for sale, curious and wanting, oh wait, no, I'm mixing up the lyrics, but looking for the attitude that is for sale, like not knowing, like am I gonna shop, like I'm feeling like I have to shop for like how I'm supposed to be in the world. And also I was in love for the first time when I wrote that song, and I think it was also that like feeling like, how am I supposed to be in this relationship? I'm not even in a relationship and I'm in love, like but anything that you're searching for, like that's like the chorus is like where, here, there, like just feeling at odds, like searching for these things.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that.
Definitely.
And people will be excited to listen to it when it comes out in 2 weeks.
It used to be called Cowbells because there's a cowbell in it. And that's just like we had to name it in the studio. And Hayden, who like co-produced and mixed and engineered the album, was like, I just need a name right now. I was like, Cowbells. Oh no, it was Cowbells for Sale.
Cowbells for Sale. So you used to be in a lot of other people's projects compared to being in your own. You were in Don't Tell Me, Dirt Buyer, and Sloppy Jane, right?
Yeah.
You played bass for those?
I played bass for those.
How is that different than, like, doing your own thing now?
I think it's so much harder to lead a band than to just be a bass player. I think there's a part of being in a band that I love when, like, you're kind of just, like, being told what to do. And not having to, like, I find it, I think also because of my experience being in bands where, like, I wasn't appreciated or, like, treated well, that, like, I'm so, like, hyper aware and worried about doing that to my bandmates that I'm constantly, like, stressed when I'm trying to direct people. And my band is not really collaborative. Like,
That's what I was gonna ask.
It's my music. So it blows my mind that people even want to, like, play in my band when they don't have
that
their
the
own
ownership to it.
Yeah. Even though I myself was so happy to do that before, and even if I was given, like, play this exact bass part, I was still happy because it was satisfying to me, and even if it was something specific, I knew, like, however I played it, like, it would still sound like me, and I was physically playing it on stage, so I enjoyed it. But
were you in any projects that were more collaborative, or have you always just been, like, in people's own projects and just played a part that they wanted you to?
For the most part, I was always playing bass lines that people asked, or, like, they would give, like, a basic, like, guideline, and then I would do my own thing, which I still would consider just...
Yeah. You know, there's only so much room where you can, like, add your own to it.
Yeah. When I played bass for Carol, and, like, I played bass on that, on the album that she just released this year, that was, like, a pretty collaborative arranging process. Like, she wrote all of those songs, but I felt, like, more involved in that, I would say, than in Sloppy Jane or Dirt Buyer. I wasn't involved in, like, the creative process whatsoever. Yeah, I think that's the only one that I was, like, involved in creative, besides maybe in some bands in college.
Yeah. And for those projects, you, like, would tour with them?
Yeah.
How was, like, that experience?
I love being on tour. And just, like, being in a car for 8 hours a day. Like, that is so fun.
I feel like it's, like, part of touring is, like, something that's, like, almost intimate about it, because you're, like, enclosed in the space with, like, these people for, like, who knows long, like, 8 weeks at a time, 2 weeks, whatever, how long.
Yeah, I think we did, like, 6 or 7 weeks. 6, 7, 8 weeks. I don't remember. With Dirt Buyer. And yeah, like, it was 3 of us in a car for that long. Like, we were with each other 24/7. So it's like
people, I guess.
It's like going to sleepaway camp, but also, like, being in a relationship. It's like all the intense parts of being in a romantic relationship without any, like, real romance or, like, intimacy. And you have to figure out how to, like how you're like eating schedules with people, like sleeping,
what pisses them off, like the tiniest thing that can do that.
We ended up getting lice on that tour. That was insane. And that was the first time I had lice in my life.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
had lice the first week of tour, and then I ended up having lice the last week of tour separately. Like, it was not carried over. And the first time was in Reno, and then the last time was in Vegas.
So it's just Nevada, and like you can't.
Yeah, I can't ever go there again. But apparently, so the first time I removed the lice myself, but the second time around I went to a professional because I was like, I'm not
like, no,
shit. It's the worst experience ever. And they were like, is your what do you do for work? I was like, I was just on tour. And they were like, is your fan base teenagers? And I was like, yes. And they were like, don't take selfies with teenagers because they're the population with the most amount of lice, but they just don't know.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, like
no, sorry. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, okay, so your playlist topic, I mean, the playlist is called Blizzard Walk. Blizzard? Blizzard Walk.
Blizzard.
And that's based on, like, walking through a blizzard. I can't say blizzard today. Walking through a blizzard alone at midnight, and you said you had a specific moment. Do you, like, want to walk us through that?
Yeah, so there was this crazy snowstorm. I think that it was, like, 2017 or it was 2016 or 2017 winter time. And or maybe 2018, I don't know. But I walked all the way down to Tribeca from my family's house in the East Village, and there was so much snow. Like, there was like at least 3 feet of snow, and it wasn't plowed yet, and it took me so long. It took me like 3 hours to walk to my friend's house, and we were hanging out, and I waited till really late. Like, I think it was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning, like, and I walked home with my like big Audio-Technica headphones on my head, and the sidewalks still were not plowed at all, but the streets were, and I didn't see one person or a single car my whole entire like walk back from Tribeca to the East Village. And it felt really apocalyptic and like special, and like I was like the only person that existed in the universe. And so some of these songs are songs that I remember listening to, but also songs that I like wish that I knew at the time or like would send to myself back then. But I think it was one of the most magical experiences, and like I felt so like in my body in that moment.
That's crazy because I feel like a lot of symbolism that comes from blizzards are like chaos and isolation, and so you were like completely isolated in that moment because like obviously like the roads are treacherous, so like no one's really out, and like your only way to walk home was to like walk in the street, which is like normally dangerous thing to do. And
not seeing one car the whole entire way.
That must have been like, it feels like kind of like the Twilight Zone kind of, because it's like it feels like a different universe. Like,
exactly, that's what it felt like. It felt like such an escape from like the world that I was in, which was treacherous at the time. I just felt so still and like with myself and content. Like I would have been happy to like die in that moment. I was like,
I feel like it can be like peaceful and serene.
I'm surprised. I feel like if I were to have that experience now, as a 25-year-old, I would be anxious to be the only person, but like my 18, 19-year-old self, not giving a shit. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse or not.
You are allowed to curse. I feel like, because you went to a friend's house in a blizzard, you know, like it's just like being like laid back in a way. I feel like when I'm young, like when you're younger, you're just consequences are less of a thing in your mind.
Yeah.
And not that walking in a blizzard has any consequences, but like, you know, like being alone with your thoughts isn't as scary because you're not thinking of like, if I do this, then this can happen, and if this happens, then that can happen.
It's true. I get very like nostalgic and melancholy for that, like wishing that I didn't feel like the consequences of life so heavily now.
Yeah, or just like being knowledgeable about things. I feel like the more you know, the more cursed it is, because I feel like my 16-year-old self probably knew like the world wasn't like a tremendous place, but like there was still that excitement of getting older and like new responsibilities and like all of this other stuff. Not that life isn't exciting now, but I'm just saying like, and then there was a childlike wonder to being younger. That's just kind of harder to access now.
Definitely, yeah. That, tying that back into my music, it's the childlike wonder, like feeling that I'm trying to like encapsulate and want people to feel from listening to my music, and really like for myself trying to live in that. Like, I think growing up in like an unsafe household, like not being able to like live as a child truly, and trying to like be an adult and live out a childhood, kind of like a childhood dream and wonder. And
because you're like, I didn't get those childhood moments and I wish I could have experienced them, and it's like trying to kind of recreate them now that you're an adult in a way that's still true to yourself now.
Yeah, and especially like wanting to give that to other people, because I mean, it's also selfish because it's like, I like that the most, like, so I'm like, oh, everyone else wants that, but that's not necessarily true. Sometimes, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but sometimes, like, dating people will be like, oh, wow, like, you're really, like, they'll say, like, oh, you have, like, a lot of childlike wonder, like, you're really in touch with your inner child, but I feel like it's, like, demeaning.
Yeah.
And not, like, a good thing. But I think it's really important to heal your inner child.
Yeah, I feel like, I feel like people say that, but like it's kind of like backhanded in a way, like they're trying to say, I don't even know how to like put it into words.
It's hard to know what words to use to describe it. I think it also kind of comes from like insecure males.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't had anyone say that in a queer relationship that I've been in, but
yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I don't want to shit talk anyone right now, so I'll keep it to myself. But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
What would you think? What are some items that you would need for a blizzard walk? What's the itinerary? What's an itemized list? Can you give us one of things that you would take with you?
Ooh. Hand warmers for my pockets. Good gloves that are like waterproof ones, so I can make a snowball if I wanted to, or a snowman. What else? Headphones. Probably a hat, scarf, you know, puffer jacket. Definitely like hiking boots or snow boots, something that like I can like, you know, stomp around the snow and not get my toesies soaking wet. Maybe some thick socks, but not too thick, because I find that makes me feel claustrophobic.
Would you be wearing like, you know, your Uniqlo Heat Tech? Oh
yeah, that's good. I do have some like long sleeve like.
No, yeah, the long sleeve Heat Tech.
It's good.
Thin. It's so good.
It's great. Like when you wear stuff that has space in it, then all the air gets up there and it's cold.
Yeah. In literature, most of the time, snow is used to like kind of suggest negative qualities of the human and natural world, and just kind of like personify them. What do you think are some of like the things that you would be battling in this fictional blizzard? of sorts.
Maybe some like fantastical ice creatures.
Yeah.
I feel like they would be like shooting some like icicles at me or something. I need like a shield.
Yeah. And like sometimes blizzards can like be on set out of nowhere. Like, have you watched Yellow Jackets? Have you seen Yellow Jackets? The show.
Oh yeah, is that the
Like the teenage soccer, like teenage girls playing soccer and they get stranded on an island.
Oh, never mind. No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, never mind. You should watch
I?
it. Like, you should watch it. It's really good. I was gonna tie it back.
I was thinking of Swarm.
Swarm. Oh, the Childish Gambino thing.
Yes.
I haven't seen that. Should
It's
I watch
good.
it? Okay. I'll put that on
It's very good. It's very disturbing though.
to be watched. Yeah. I'll put that on my to be watch. You should definitely check out Yellow
Yellow
Jackets.
Jackets.
I'm trying to get Caroline to watch it too. So if you guys catch up, we can have like a season finale.
It's coming out like
right now. Like season 2 is coming out right now, but season 1 is done and you can like watch that.
I'm quick at watching.
Yeah, and it's like I think it's like 8 episodes, so you can like get that. You can get it done. Okay, back to the playlist. What are some of your favorite songs on there? And I can pull up the playlist if you would like.
Oh, do you know The Way to San Jose? That's like one of my favorite songs. It just makes me so happy and I feel like gives me a little pep in my step. I'm like, I definitely listen to that on my walk. I feel like it just like, you know, makes me move my shoulders.
Yeah, I will say that like a lot of the picks are kind of like upbeat. I was expecting more of like a melancholic vibe to like a Blizzard Block, but I like really love the playlist like in the picks that you have.
Thank you. Yeah, they are pretty upbeat. A lot of them are like all like 60s stuff. Let's see. Me and My Arrow, of course.
Yeah.
The Entertaining of a Shy Girl, I love that song.
Yeah.
Donovan.
The Elliott Smith on here. You have the Zombies, which we mentioned.
Yeah.
And then this, I love Bull Believer. Like,
it's so good. I'll just listen to that song on repeat.
Exactly. Like I can listen. Sometimes I love a super duper long song, like Sunglasses by Black Country New Road.
Oh yeah.
I can listen to that forever. And same with Bull Believer.
Oh, Connie Converse too. I love. I love that song, Talking Like You.
Yeah. Okay. But you know what's also crazy is that I'm going to interview Caroline, who is a photographer, by the way, if you guys don't know that, and a really good friend of ours. Theirs is the opposite of yours. I mean, they're changing it now, but like when they initially picked it, theirs is like a first hot day of summer bliss. Oh, that's so cool. Really? Yeah. So I thought that was like cool that you guys just happened to pick foils.
That's fun, yeah.
Yeah, but is there anything that you want to plug before we log off?
I don't know. Other than this single, I don't think I have anything. Yeah, May 16th is the day for that. I don't have any shows booked yet, so.
But if anything comes out, I will make sure to link it in the bio. Thank you for listening, guys.